So hi, so it's Ken again, Sutton Academy, or ATTFE. So we've entered lockdown number 3. So majority of us are working from home again, so it means sat in front of our computers or at a desk or on a sofa. It's the middle of winter, so we're allowed to exercise outside, but yeah, we don't really feel like going out there because it's blooming cold. So what can we do? So I'm going to take you through some waist turning exercises, because it's good that we can work from home, but it means that we don't get very much exercise. Just walking from here to the kettle or back, or I bet some of you even got the kettle set up right next to you, so you don't have to go walking. So you're not getting your steps in, you're not getting any exercise, your immune system's getting sluggish, everything's slowing down. So it's important that we do get up and move. So we're gonna do some waist turning exercises today, probably the world's most practiced Tai Chi exercises. So let's get to it. So welcome to my living room, to my green screen studio. At the start of the first lockdown in March 2020, I converted my living room into a green screen studio. And with a green screen studio, the magic green screen, we can transport ourselves anywhere. So, welcome to the jungle clearing. Listen to the sound of the water, the sound of the birds. Really do imagine that. Okay, we'll go through that as we get into it. So, we're going to do some waist turning, probably the world's most practiced Tai Chi exercises, waist turning exercises. It's very simple. Just stand up. So, we'll go through a few postural requirements. In Tai Chi, we try to stand as upright as we can be. So we're not fighting gravity because we're not leaning forwards, backwards, or to the sides. We're perfectly upright, so gravity is just pulling down from us. So we're not slumping. We're raising what we call the spirit of vitality to the top of the head, or standing up tall. So imagine you have a long ponytail on the top of the head that's tied up to the heavens or up to the ceiling. Your pelvic area is tilted forwards, feels like it's hanging down from that suspension from above. Relaxing the hips, the knees, and the ankles. You never lock these joints out. And always try to keep a small gap underneath your armpits. Even when your arms are close to the body, at least let the air be able to get to your body, or get to your armpits. Standing tall, touch the tongue onto the roof of the mouth. Lips and teeth latched together, breathing in and out through your nose, breathing into the belly. Imagine you're breathing into an area that's about 3 fingertips below the belly button and in the center of the body. Imagine you have a ball there about the size of a golf ball. And as you breathe into that ball, feel it expand about the size of your fist. And this expansion pushes this whole area. And you can't really breathe into your belly, but imagine you are breathing into your belly. Imagine you're breathing into your belly. This will help to lower your center of gravity, and it really does help to calm the mind down. And I want you to put your mind into that ball in the belly. You might be saying, oh, my mind's in my head. No, the brain is in your head. Your mind is everywhere inside the body. If you let your mind settle in your head, what your brain is the area where we store programs, memories, thought patterns, programs of how to do things. If you let your mind settle up there, then the mind can race, accessing those memories, those programs, those thoughts, and then the mind can race. In the Oriental systems, they say this is like a monkey in a tree, jumping from branch to branch to branch to branch to branch, jumping from thought. The mind can race. So drop your mind down into your belly, into that ball in your belly. And it will keep flitting up, but keep putting it down into that belly. Keep putting it down to the belly. This will help to calm the mind down and to lower your center of gravity. Relaxing your arms down by your side. So let your arms hang, let go of control of the shoulders. Let your arms hang. Pelvic area is tilted forwards, but it feels like it's hanging down from that suspension of your body. And feel yourself sitting down onto your legs as well. Put the mind into that ball in the belly and start to turn it from side to side. Turning that ball in the belly from side to side, which sets your waist into motion and starts to shift the weight of the body from one leg to the other. Just turning from that ball in your belly. So you're not just tensing the hip flexor muscles against the hips to get this movement. Turning from that ball in your belly. In fact, you're floating across this area here. This area that we call the Kwa in Tai Chi. The energy thing. Floating through this area like a boat floats through water. So slightly submerged, but floating across the surface freely. And your arms are moving away from your body because of the centripetal force coming out from your center. So the faster you turn your waist, the higher your arms will go. Just let them go. Just let them go. Let your arms go. Turning the waist. Turning. So we're loosening up the waist here, loosening up the hips, and we're really working the kidneys in the lower back as well. The kidneys in the lower back, the kidneys filter the blood inside your body. And when you do a lot of sitting like we are doing in this current lockdown, then the the vascular system can get sluggish. The blood can slow down inside your body. This is a good way for, let's say, massaging the kidneys in the lower back and kind of increasing your circulation, getting the blood flowing around your body. You're getting your heart rate up a little bit here as well, so the heart is pumping the blood around your body. It's important to move your body. Every hour or so of sitting down doing your work at your desk, I'll get up and do something. Just walk around. I would recommend doing these waist turning exercises. But turning the waist. Turning your waist. Turning the weight of the body from one leg to the other leg. And as I'm turning here, as I turn onto my left leg, my left hip is closing. As I turn onto my right leg, my right hip is closing. The hips area, the inguinal crease area here, opening and closing like the pages of a book. Just turning from that ball in the belly. And you're sinking down as well. You're feeling the natural shock absorbing properties of your legs. So as you sink down, you see the hip goes backwards, the knee goes forwards. Make sure the knee goes straight forwards and on the toe. So you're using your legs as the shock absorbers as they evolve to be used. So you're not walking your legs out like this, you're sinking down. As you sink down, you feel the bones. As the bones become more weight bearing, feel them rotating. It's important that they do rotate. You're not twisting your knees, but it's important that the bones do rotate as they become weight bearing. So you feel a rotation happening all the way up from the ankle, all the way up through the body really. Turning from that ball and belly, keeping your head up. You are thinking down here, but make sure your senses, especially the eyes, are not dropping down to what you're thinking about. You're feeling the inner workings of your body. So as you turn onto the supporting leg, you feel the bones as they become more weight bearing, you feel them rotating, you feel the muscles flexing and tensing against the bones enough to give the body stability. You're not excessively tensing the muscles, you're just allowing them to tense in reaction to the weight of your body, gravity, and this movement, and the ground underneath your feet as well. Just letting the muscles tense just as much as they need to. It's a very Tai Chi thing, not too much, not too little, just right. Well, that's Goldilocks in the three bears, but it's very Tai Chi. Not too much, not too little, just right. And with this just right, this just enough tensing of the muscles, you should be able to feel the elasticity of the connective tissue, the myofascia, that stringy, stretchy white tissue that surrounds the muscles, connects the muscles, surrounds and connects everything inside your body. You want to feel the elasticity of the connective tissue, and you want to use this connective tissue as kind of like strings against the bows that you are making with your bones. As you sink down, you're bending, or the bones are rotating, and you're sinking down. You see you're making a bow here, there's lots of bows. You feel the connective tissue, like a bow and arrow, you feel the connective tissue as strings to those bows. So sinking down, the shock absorber. You feel the connective tissue wrapping around the rotating bones, raveling around the rotating bones. You sink down, you're compressing that wrapped around connective tissue, you're compressing those bows, and creating the energy that we call Jing in Tai Chi. The spring-powered body, not just the gross muscular effort of the body, it's the Jing power, the spring power, the elastic power of your body. And it's this, we want to utilize this energy. Utilize this energy as a power source to keep our body in motion here. So again, we're not just engaging the muscles, we're just recycling the weight of the body, creating that Jing, that elastic energy inside the body, and we're letting it release, like releasing an arrow from a bow. And we're steering that release of energy using that ball in the belly. And make sure you're staying engaged. Tai Chi is a moving meditation, so make sure your mind isn't wandering away thinking, oh, I've got to get back to work, oh, I've got to do this, got to do that. Make sure you are truly engaged in what you're doing here, going through all these things that I'm giving to you to work on. So your mind isn't flitting to the future or the past, you're truly present in this moment. Engaged, mind, body, in this moment. Turning. Then start to let the heel follow the movement of your waist. Let the heel follow the movement of the waist. So you're not just tensing, you're tensing from the hips here. We're pulling the knee round or pulling the knee in, pushing the heel away from you. You can really feel yourself levering against that supporting leg and levering the heel away from you. Good old Archimedes, leverage. Feel yourself with the connective tissue pulling the knee in. And this is an empty stance. You're dropping all the weight of the body down onto that supporting leg. So you feel the bones rotating even more now. Make sure it's a nice even rotation all the way up through the body. You're not rotating any bones excessively. Nice even rotation. Sink it down. Make sure you're not sticking your chest or your ribs out as you do this. Sink your ribs to fill your lower back. Sink the chest around up back. Feel like the ears are being pulled back as if pulling the neck against the collar of a shirt, and then feel the head lifting up. Try and keep your jaw parallel to the floor. You can imagine here that you're balancing something on the top of the head. Imagine you're balancing a bowl of water on the top of the head. Ooh, imagine you're balancing a bowl of water on the top of the head. And do imagine, the nervous system doesn't know the difference between imaginary and real. So the better you can imagine something, the more the nervous system will instruct the body into the positioning to perform the task that you are imagining. And this balancing a bowl of water on top of the head gives you the right amount of tension and relaxation to really feel that elastic power of the connective tissue inside the body, the myofascia. Again, stay engaged in what you're doing. Don't let your mind wander away. Every time you notice your mind has wandered away into thinking, away from what you're doing here, just bring it back. And it's hard. Meditation is hard, but you're the only ones who can do it. Every time you notice your mind has started to think about the future, the past, just remind yourself that you've set this time aside for doing this and bring yourself back to this moment. Engage mind, body in this moment. I want you to divide your feet, each foot, into 2 triangles. You have a triangle from the ankle to the heel to the balls of the feet, from the ankle to the balls of the feet to the toes. 2 triangles. When the leg is at its fullest, you want to have about 70% of the way going down through the triangle at the rear of the foot, 30 through the triangle at the front of the foot. Softening the insteps, the bone, the tissue above the arch of the feet. Imagine these are as soft as cotton wool. You want that softness to replicate itself up through the body, and this will really help with your knee alignment as well. Really make sure you're not twisting your knees here. Sitting down, really sitting down onto that supporting leg. Sitting down, feel that spiraling, that rotation of all the bones, the wrapping around of the connective tissue. The connective tissue against those bows that the bones are making, compressing, then releasing. And this is really good, as I said, for the kidneys, really good for the health of the body. The meditative practices we're doing here really good for the health of the mind as well. And Tai Chi is a martial art at its highest level. And it's all these things here that we use for putting the power into our strikes. It's the elastic power of the body, not just the gross muscular effort of the body. This is the elastic power of the body, this sinking down and this releasing. This energy, that compression, that Jing power from the body. So even though it's just a gentle loosening up exercise, you are training Tai Chi martial principles here. Okay, let's change it ever so slightly, so feet flat on the floor. Let's change to sitting down onto the supporting leg like this now. So when the leg is at its fullest, the hip is more open than closed. More open than closed. Again, you want more weight towards that triangle at the rear of the foot. 70% of the weight down through the triangle at the rear of the foot, 30 through the triangle at the front of the foot. Soften the insteps. Make sure your knee is staying in line with your toes. Make sure you're not leaning to the sides here. So as you sink down, you have a straight line down from your earlobes all the way down through the very center of the foot. You have these central axes, 3 vertical axes here. You have an axis down from each earlobe down through the center of the foot. You have an axis down from the top of the head down to the midpoint in between your 2 feet. 3 vertical axes. You're moving freely through these 3 vertical axes across this horizontal plane. Turn, and again, you're moving freely through this area. You're not just tensing from this area here, floating through this area like a boat floats through water, so slightly submerged but floating across the surface freely. And again, make sure we are thinking down here, make sure your senses aren't dropping down there, you're not throwing away this suspension from above. So feel down there, feel the inner workings of your body. This is what we call interioception or interoception, the inner feeling of the workings of your body. To really feel inside your body. And you might not, it might take a little bit of work and practice to really feel the inner workings of your body, but again, you're the only ones who can do this. Sinking down. Again, make sure the ribs aren't flaring out, the lower back isn't curving in. You're not sticking the chest out, you're not looking down, keeping your head up, spiraling down. Compressing and releasing, compressing and releasing. Sinking down. And start to raise the toes. Raise the toes, pivoting on the heel, turning the toes away from your body. Again, this is an empty stance. Dropping down, you don't have to do that. An empty stance. Sinking down. Levering against the supporting leg to lever the toes away from the body. Levering, leverage, pushing down, levering against that supporting leg with the upper body, and levering the leg, or the toes, the leg out to the side. Sinking down. 70% of the way down through the rear of the foot, 30 through the front of the foot. Soften the insteps. Sinking down, turning from that ball in your belly. So you should be getting nice and warm now. Heart rate might be up a little bit. Should be, your sense of balance should improve by doing these sort of exercises as well. Change to raising the heel. And again, make sure you're staying engaged in what you're doing here. If you notice your mind has wandered away, and it will, don't get annoyed with yourself when it does, but every time you notice your mind has wandered away, just bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back to the moment and what you're doing here. Experiencing gravity on your body. Relaxing the body so you can feel the elasticity of the connective tissue. Moving from that ball in your belly. In Tai Chi they say, The whole body should move like a rolling ball. So when one part moves, every part moves. If one part were to stop, every part would stop. So this movement isn't disjointed. Everything is moving together like a rolling ball or a turning wheel. Turning. So raising the heel, pivoting on the big toes. Pivoting on the big toes. Did I say that? Okay. And really feel yourself rolling down the middle of the feet. Rolling down the middle of the feet. So you're not rolling down the inside or the outside of the feet, you're rolling down the middle of the feet. Rolling down. And you're really activating the plantar fascia, the connective tissue that runs along the soles of the feet, and really getting a pump. A pump like sinking down to a trampoline or a bouncing castle, sinking down and then bouncing out. And you're sending that bounce up through the body, out to your fingertips and up to the top of the head. So again, this is how we call borrowing the strength of the earth in Tai Chi. It's how we put the power into our strides. Oh, whole body, the strength of the earth behind it. Sinking down. Okay, so let's get a little bit of coordination going here. So I want you to raise your left toes, right heel, left toes, and right heel. And the trick is not to think about this too much. When you think about it too much, the analytical side of the brain kicks in and it tends to go to pot. So don't think, just keep working on it until it happens, until you get it right. Sinking down. These coordination exercises make the left and right hemispheres of the brain harmonize. So you're coordinating, working on both sides of the brain. Because you know the right side of your brain controls the movements of the left side of the body, the left side of your brain controls the movements of the right side of the body. You're making them harmonize. You can feel a bit, it's a bit like kind of rubbing your belly and tapping your head at the same time. Okay, change to raising your right toes, your left heel. Left heel still rolling down the middle of the feet. Still feel the rotation of all the bones. Head as if suspended above. Sink the chest, round the back, sink the ribs to feel the lower back. Pelvic area is hanging down. Sinking out, compressing down. Bouncing out. Sending that strength from the earth, from the whole body, up through the body and out to the feet. Sinking. He said, one of the most widely practiced Tai Chi exercises. Tai Chi is the world's most practiced martial art. It's said it's practiced a bit. I mean, there's no exact figures, but they reckon up to between 100 and 200 million people practice Tai Chi regularly. Most people don't practice for the martial art, so just play out. And this is really good for you. And just let this settle down its own. Just let the energy dissipate. Okay, and then just rub your hands. Rub your hands. So hopefully your hands are warmer than they were when you started. Rub your hands. Just rub your belly. Rub your belly. It's really good digestion muscles. One way and the other way. All the way around. Hands on the lower back of the kidney area, nice rub. This is self-massage. Rub as hard as is comfortable for you. Imagine you're rubbing that warmth from your hands into your body from the hips. The pelvic area, inguinal crease, the buttocks, the thighs, the knees. I love your knees. Rubbing warm, loving, positive energy into your shins, your calves, your ankles. You can get down there anywhere you feel easy. And we can finish there. So more films coming over the next few weeks, but that's mine for now. So goodbye for